heard such scintillating conversations across and many opinions exchanged. I would be sharing my experience, my journey in this space, basically, and our experience in terms of collaboration and partnership with RMZ Mender Foundation. In the almost 20 years since CLT was founded, we have done many things that bring a different shift into the way we've been thinking about certain things. I would like to assume that. We are in education space, but in technology, how technology can be used. And for a non-profit to be in this space, still survive 20 years of this, and to be a thought leader like we were told, thank you so much, has been quite a challenge. However, what we have tried to do is, instead of actually getting into the conventional space of how education technology was looked at, we have sort of broken the myth in every single space. At the time we were here, the digital content was looked at as a privilege of a few in the for-profit sector as well as in the high-end private schools. What is it that we have brought together there? And we were looking at the delivery space of it. People were actually looking at one laptop per child, internet-based delivery, and then the high-end technology, smart board, all the things that weren't actually accessible in a social space, which is the government school. So our focus point has been actually studying, when people say there's a lot of content available there, my question would be at that particular point, like where? If a government school teacher wanted to access content, when you say there's a lot of content, is that in regional language? Can the teacher actually access content in the regional language? Does she have internet? Do they have experience and training to be able to access it? These were some of the things that we have explored a lot, and I think we have contributed a lot in that space. Having said that, I just wanted to say that today we have been actually able to scale our program, but how we have been able to scale the program and things like that. At this point, I'm just going to stop the CLT introduction, and I'm going to hand over this to you, and then you can intervene.
Hello. My name is Manu Abraham Matthew. I work for Menda Foundation. Very happy to see people from Rotary here. Menda Foundation was started by Mr. Arjun Menda, who is the founder of RMZ Corp group of companies. And he himself is a Rotarian, and he works in line with Rotary in many of its programs. And the organization has started in 2006. The Menda Foundation has started in 2006 with scholarship programs. Basically, I'm not featured the vision of the foundation here because it is very much in line with CLT's vision. To address the educational needs in rural India, that was the prime concern. And we started with scholarships, a program called Light for Education program. And in some point of time, we found a need of e-learning programs in schools, especially in rural Karnataka, where we could tie up with CLT in that process. So, I remember we had a conversation over the phone regarding how we started this collaboration. While Bhagya was narrating the story, I felt like it's a love story. Like Mr. Menda has seen the program in some school which CLT is running, and was very much impressed with the content and the program. And we had phases of sitting together, discussing and making it in a structured way of delivering it in the manner which rural school require the program. So initially we defined the roles of the partners. Like, we have a very strong MOU that mentions what is the role that you have to take in. For Menda Foundation is concerned, we are a funding partner. We fund 50% for the program, each unit of the program, as well as we are not stopping our role just by funding, but we also take one step ahead to go ahead and monitor the program and try to understand the challenges as well as the opportunities in the field. So while Bhagya was mentioning about scaling up the program, we have covered around 900 schools together. So from Menda Foundation, we try to go to each of the schools and find how well the program is reaching the beneficiaries and find out the challenges and opportunities in the field so that we can continuously add on to the requirement that is there in the school. Again, when we look at the opportunities, there are so much of opportunities. Like when we ask a school, what are your needs? Like there'll be a huge list of, needs. So it is again important to focus on the program that you are moving ahead with, and we try to continuously give the inputs from the field to CLT. We sit again and try to improvise on the available solution. So this is how we work together. So I think Omar can add.
So thank you for having us over. The organizers, Himmat Singha Foundation, Ficus, Satwa, all of you, thank you so much for having us. Himmat Singha Foundation also happens to be one of our partners. Together with partners such as the Mendas, Himmat Singhas, the Rotary, and so on and so forth, CLT has been able to scale its model to close to 1,500 schools in about 5,000 classrooms in Karnataka. The 2 or 3 points I wanted to bring into the conversation is just because we need to be technology savvy or leverage on technology in delivering our models, it does not necessitate a technology heavy model in the field. CLT's evolution has seen computer labs. It has seen internet broadcasting live under a program we did with Cisco. We have seen printing DVDs or publishing DVDs and sending them out in the market. All of them in their own way, in their own size, were fairly decent models. But when it came to scaling, we wanted to keep this model very, very simple. This digital STEM content from 5th to 10th grades that we've covered so far in several languages, including Kannada, Hindi, English, and Marathi, sits on an Android mini PC, which can be literally plugged into any television or projector. Because I'm on an Android platform, it gives me the flexibility to go take it on the tablet. So our present is very, very good as far as the role and the partnership is concerned, because through this evolution since 2014, some of our partners such as Mendas have seen us through all the pains of getting the content ready, getting it out as a complete suite. That level of commitment, I think, is phenomenal. And then for the family themselves to be involved directly. One of the field visits that I did while I was getting inducted into CLT was I was surprised to actually see Mr. Menda's younger brother, Mr. Chatru Menda, in the field, in the school in Hassan, walking around, even though he had a leg injury. Now that level of commitment for a family that has no limit to money is phenomenal, because it speaks beyond words and the vision and the websites that we might put out in the market. In terms of future plans, and I acknowledge the fact that we should have measurables, we should have scorecards, we should have the right kind of data coming to us. The evolution may take 5 years, but every quarter, every 6 months, we must have some measurables, and that's why I'm sitting in the middle, I think, between the corporate and the... So this year we've invested heavily in data analytics. These devices will now be SIM-enabled, and Vodafone's been very kind to tie up with us, not as a sponsorship, but as a partner, but as a vendor, to enable this. So now from some of our schools, starting with the ones that we're doing with Himmat Singhas, we will see data coming in real time to partners and to stakeholders to see whether this content is being used, if it's being used in remedial learning, even though it's mainstream curricula aligned content and so on and so forth. So from the trigger of a great love story and having taken pains to evolve so far, the future for us entails a lot of investment in further research. Perhaps the 7th hour I would like to add to the earlier model. And also a focus on how we can expand to other languages and to other states.
I just wanted to pick up on the love story point. Yeah, so, you know, at the time we met mentors, just before that, our struggles were, the challenges were actually understanding what the rural schools needed, what they didn't need, the dumping of the infrastructure that was happening in these schools without the training, without the content and all of that, understanding that. How the technology can be heavy on my side when we are developing the content, all of that, whereas for the end user, why it should be as simple as a mobile phone for her to be able to use it. All of that research had actually gone into understanding what was the right pedagogy, how much investment should be made so that it will be low cost for the end user at the end of the day, so that scaling can happen. So while we were, and then actually covering the curricula and then the relatability of this content, while we were struggling with all of that and actually being able to come up with a successful model after the learning of many of the failed other programs. But we needed a very strong partner for the delivery of this content. Now we were actually, we had the content, we had it in regional language, but it's sitting in our server. How do we actually take it to the field? That's when we needed someone. We had the research that it can work, but not the measurables in each single location. For that, we needed a trusting partner that was willing to invest in this particular thing, because there was enough evidence to understand that the need was there, and the need can be met with the educational technology part of it, because we have 1.2 million teacher shortage. This was about 10 years back. And that number is only growing. How do we actually resolve that particular problem? This could be one of the solutions. So for someone to have trust in that and to invest, and to do away with the used computer, to actually come up with a model, a viable model that had the best of infrastructure, but it was a very simple model. Would you like to talk a little bit about the kind of model that we've used?
Yeah, it is. So regarding the model that we are talking about, if you go to the previous slide, please, you can see a classroom. The next one, one more. Yeah, this is a particular eShala classroom that we enables in a rural school. So the program is like we fix a 32-inch or 40-inch TV next to the blackboard with the CLT content installed in it. And the whole system is solar powered with a solar panel and a battery, and it goes along with a teacher's training program. Yeah, one day teacher's training program, and obviously the CLT content is loaded in an Android device. And also we have a partner in the field called Selco Solar Lights Private Limited, who takes care of maintenance of the solution. So from a funder perspective, the key enabler for us, we can say we have a complete confidence in the expertise of CLT, and also the kind of, as I have mentioned, we are a 50% partner. We don't fund any of these projects 100%. So in these 900 schools that we have covered, we have got funders from the community, from the villages, from the rural areas itself, partners like various banks, NGOs, or even the alumni of a school. For example, they have come forward and they have, they have a stake in the particular system that we have installed. Also, we respect the stake of the school in this particular program. We are insisting the schools to at least, chip in with some kind of, at least for the maintenance, they have to have a stake in this particular program. So we respect all the partners as well as the stakeholders in the community, as well as the partners with the program.
Yes, so the fact that solar component goes at the part of the model, and the fact that there is a device that runs the content, even in rural areas, remote areas, despite shortages in electricity, or lack of internet, this program actually has been running successfully. There's always a question. Some of our partners have chosen to go with the projector model, and we constantly keep asking ourselves, what is a better option? Or do you want projectors in a classroom, or do you want televisions? With televisions, our experience with our partners has been the strong resolution. Teachers have endorsed it because it's very, very familiar technology to them. They don't have to dim the lights in the classrooms to see clearly in case the lamp of the projector became weaker in 5 or 6 months' time. So these are some elements that we are trying to work out, but we are constantly studying better technologies. For a simple, robust technology. The question in the room obviously should be, since we're talking about so many elements and so much of sponsorship or partnership, is this a cost-heavy model? The content to a child itself goes at about 1 to 3 rupees a month to the school. That is how heavily subsidized it is. And with the fact that people like Mendes have partnered with us, they bring in a lot of traction. So for us to go to someone and say, look, we already have a partner who's willing to chip in the TV. Would you like to help us for the solar component, or would you like to take half of the cost? It becomes even easier for us to raise funds. We are looking at exploring moving this onto an individual space model, and to see if we can churn in some revenues. Because of course, we also in a few years want to move away completely from the, majorly away from the grant model. So that's the aim. We're looking into that.
I just wanted to add, coming back to this partnership, why is this one standalone model in a matter of 2 years? It's not a joke to be able to do, and even 900 schools, it could be the tip of the iceberg when you're looking at 45,000 schools, but in rural, very remote schools, for these schools to have actually successfully emerged from 0 to 900 schools, which is about 2,700 classrooms, and successfully running, it's an amazing success story for us within a 2-year period. This is helping us to actually scale this model. And we covered it, but I want to re-emphasize it. When Manu was talking about, there is a 3-way partnership between us and Mendo and Selco for the implementation of it. The 4th partnership model that Mr. Mendo came up with is where that will be subsidized at 50%. I think that was an enabler for the scaling of this particular program, because the community owns it, or there's another stakeholder in the community. It could be another corporate or a bank or what have you, but they have a stake in it. So the monitoring of the program is easier. They're also doing it, Mendos are doing it, CLT is doing it from another point of view of actually being in touch with the teachers to understand that the program is running. So there is like a 360-degree of monitoring of the program that's been sort of built in it. So I wanted to talk about that one more time, and the ground level support that you've been able to build. And then trusting us with what we knew how to do, which was the education part of it. There's no interference there, but actually supporting what they could be doing.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, remember of partnerships that are being shared. So if you have contextual questions and problems that you've been facing and challenges, we'd like to request you to pointedly ask for those to the panel. Questions?
App within which the spread is. We currently operate in Karnataka only because we emphasize on the monitoring part, because our resources is limited, and we are very sure that we will be able to monitor only in Karnataka. So we do a kind of assessments from our side, like doing continuous surveys and updating to CLT or our implementation partner in the field regarding the feedbacks that we get from the school. CLT does their survey in the school regarding the content part, yes.
Ours is more towards the impact studies, leading to learning outcome.
Yeah, I'm William D'Souza. I'm neighbor of Balu. We work in a place called Hejri Kote. where there are a lot of tribal villages. See, it is really great to know that you are supporting the schools for infrastructure, technology and all that. That is also very important. But of course, we have also, in Mayrada, now we are spinned off from Mayrada. My organization called is MyCabs. We had partnership with Plan International, and we have constructed over 900 classrooms in one taluk. But what we were doing is, it is not only constructing the, I said toilets, schools. It is also to see how the children come to schools. Because one end you have an infrastructure, another end you have to work on software also. Like, even today it is happening. If you see the enrollment rates in government schools, it is very high. That is, the child is enrolled. So, moment it is enrolled, they say enrolled. Coming to class or not is really monitored. Sometimes they come to the school, the attendance is marked. For what? Coming and eating in the afternoon.
Sir,
that's also happening.
Request if we could have the question.
Yeah, that's also happening. Or suddenly after lunch hours, after eating, they disappear. So, I just want to know. Or what happens sometimes during harvest season, we'll go to the school and see no child is there. But of course,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not
not to interrupt you, I just wanted to add that
yeah.
we all have to work in tandem.
Yeah.
And our space is actually to address the severe shortage of teachers that might not have the subject matter expertise. But it can't be an end in itself. We definitely need other programs to make sure that other programs are working as
Anyway,
well.
I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. I'm saying,
No,
are you doing that also? Because sometimes more has to be done there. Otherwise, you will find in government schools now, everything is nice. 17 children are there. I can show you. You just go outside, running around, picking children and going somewhere else.
Sir, we understand the challenges.
I'm just saying.
Yes, we understand the challenges,
this
and
is
which is why
also
we
the
need
way
more people invested in the cause. So thank you so much for that question. Thank you so much, speakers. There you go, another live example of what these partnerships are about, and understanding and being the enablers to make sure that the community's needs are met. With that, I'm going to announce the next partnership, which is the Manipal Foundation and the Mahamaya Foundation. Thank you so much, speakers. We have Balachandran Warrior. He has worked as the Chief Executive Officer of the Manipal Foundation for the past 9 years. The organization has been support funding for 5 verticals across India and also for the below poverty line patients from nearby countries for major surgeries. These include healthcare, primary and secondary education, livelihood creation, and rural women and adolescent girl development. And joining him, we have Usha Pai. She's secretary at the Mahamaya Foundation. With 10 years of teaching experience to reputed channels such as Pearson India, she actively contributes as a teacher in all the Mahamaya Foundation processes and programs. So, stage is all yours.
Good afternoon. This is not working well. Is it working all right? Okay? All right. Good afternoon. Now, I am thrilled that we are here for a partnership, sustainability partnership, because Manipal Foundation is all about it. In fact, when we started as a trust, it was built on partnership. So based on that, I will not take too much time on what Manipal Foundation does. We are just the social arm of the whole Manipal group. I will just introduce my able head of project. She will help me in the presentation. And then I'll call our partner later on stage. She will make a grand entrance. As I said, our single point agenda was only build sustainable partnership. To date, we have probably 50 plus partnerships across the country. People think we operate only in Manipal. No, I am based in Bangalore. We have really nothing great going on in Manipal, but we have all across the country. We are also proud and privileged that we have 2 of our big partners. One is left now, Balu. SBYM is one of our big partners. We have another partner. OP, why don't you stand up?